In what's become an unintentional series on this channel, another live streaming camera just landed on my desk, and I don't even live stream. First, it was the OBS bot Tail Air 2. Now, it's the NearStream VM20. The VM20 is a unibody 4K camera that claims sharp imagery from a Sony-designed sensor, 40 times hybrid zoom, full remote control, and a plug-and-play webcam-style-like operation that is going to differ very heavily from OBS bot's app-heavy workflow. Straight out of the box, you get the essentials: the camera, a TV-style remote, a single USB-C cable that carries both power and video. NearStream actually includes a little USB-A adapter on the cable, which is a nice touch for anyone still using an older machine. The body of the camera is simple and utilitarian. There's a recessed lens with a tally light on the front to tell you if it's rolling and if it's on. There's an 8-point 360-degree microphone array on the top, and on the bottom there's a 1/4 inch mount for the camera. The sides are clean except for one logo. On the back you'll find a solid set of I/O, including a 3.5mm jack, a second USB-C port for power, an HDMI port for external monitoring, the main USB-C port for power and data, and an RJ45 port for network control. It feels like this is a purpose-built industrial camera meant to live on a mount and not in your hands. Inside the camera, there's a 5-megapixel 1/2.8-inch sensor, right in line with similarly priced streaming cameras like the OBS Bot Tiny 2 and the Logitech PTZ Pro 2, but at a friendlier sticker price. As a working videographer, I'm always a bit let down when I stack the images from modern mirrorless cameras like the one I'm recording on now with the images out of these live streaming cameras, but that's the trade-off. Lower price, smaller sensor, the image will suffer. If you're working in a room that offers you a good exposure, the VM20 does a great job at just functioning as like a live streaming type webcam with reliable autofocus and a familiar smartphone style look. In low light, like in my studio here where I'm recording right now, I would say that the performance is essentially what you'd expect. It's usable, but I wouldn't push it. All right, so let's take a look at some footage using this camera. So right now I'm recording with my Sony FX3 and a 50mm lens just kind of right in front of me in like a static studio type of look. And then now I'm gonna switch to the NearStream camera, and you can see the quality is a little different. It's going to suffer, especially in this low light. I found that high contrast environments, like with a lot of black and then a lot of exposure, the camera does kind of struggle to meter that. So I would say that if you're using it, obviously you want kind of like a solid exposure all throughout. Yeah, I wasn't able to perfectly kind of expose for this camera just because of the differences in the foreground and background, but I would say that the 4K of the image is still there. It's still solid from a 4K perspective, but I personally had some issues exposing it in low light scenarios. But if we go through the camera's features, I mean, the first one that's going to pop out to everyone is we're on kind of a wide right now. We have a 40x zoom, so bear with me. I'm gonna press the zoom button, the crash zoom button on the remote, and here we go. Here we go. We're gonna, not even close to how much is left. Here we go. I mean, this is what, 10x? We have 40x. We just keep going. Is it too much zoom yet? We're going. Oh, and we just lost the auto white balance. So you can lock the white balance if you don't want changes like that to happen. I just have it on auto white balance, so that's why that happened. Anyway, we can keep zooming. It just keeps going. And it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and that's it. And that'll give you, I can't find it. That'll give you a sense of how zoomed in that camera can get. It's absolutely insane how much 40x zoom is. Now most of it is digital, 10x optical, 40x digital. So going that far will reduce the quality of your video. But I would say that you have a pretty solid amount of reach with this camera, and given its small size, you could put this in the corner of a studio, film from the other end of the studio, and the reach is actually quite impressive for a camera of this spec. Other things to note, just kind of moving around on the remote here, I have options to pan, I have camera movements within the remote. I have an AI reframe feature that's going to kind of pick a frame for me based on how I'm talking. Oh, you picked a little high here. Let's turn that off. I have auto white balance and white balance functions. I also have the ability, and this is something I've never experienced before with mirrorless cameras, but I have the ability to change camera settings using what is essentially a TV remote, which has been a new experience for me. I can make it brighter, I can make it, darker, brighter, I can change the contrast and the saturation. Very strange, a strange experience, and you can see the menu coming up too because I have it recording through OBS, but very strange experience. The zoom on this camera is wild. 10x optical zoom, up to 40x with digital. That is so much more reach than I think most streamers will ever need, but it's there if you want it. Now I must note that there's no micro SD card slot on this camera, so if you want to record the footage, you'll have to do so on the computer that it's connected to, or if you save the live stream file afterwards. On the same note, there's also no built-in battery. This thing runs off of power from its cable. To test the camera, I mounted mine on a basic stand via the 1/4 inch thread on the bottom. No surprises there. The built-in 360 microphone will pick up something from every angle, but if audio quality matters, you're going to want an external microphone. Everything is handled by the remote. Zoom, digital moves, power, mute, exposure, white balance tweaks, quick access preset buttons, and multi-camera switching. I actually like the low-tech reliability of the remote because a remote can't vanish from the App Store. If you prefer software, NearStream's NearSync desktop app mirrors all of those controls and adds the ability to update the camera's firmware on your computer. It's got RTSP protocol support, meaning that you can stream directly to platforms like YouTube and Twitch, but I don't stream, so your mileage might vary. But from what I've seen online, it works as expected. At roughly $260 USD, about half the price of the OBS bot Tail Air 2 that I reviewed earlier this year, the VM20 delivers a lot. No motorized subject tracking, but it appears to be a compelling option if you're looking to plant a camera in one spot or running a static multi-camera setup with a couple of these hooked in series. The image quality certainly won't blow you away, but if you're familiar with live streaming and webcam style footage, I think this will fit right into that style of workflow. So overall, I think the package is really concise and consolidated. It's a small, professional looking camera. Honestly, it looks like an industrial camera from like Sony or one of the like the security manufacturers. I could easily see a setup with a bunch of these kind of hooked up, and it's kind of like stealth and low key, and you kind of just hook them all together for like a podcast or something like that. That's where I think these are at home, is some place that you don't have a lot of space and you want to set up a multicam shoot where really efficiency is the priority and not necessarily raw image performance, because these things are pretty cheap in terms of what you're getting, like a live streaming camera with a crazy zoom on it and some AI functions. So to outfit a studio with a bunch of these, you could set up 3 angles for less than $1,000, which seems to be a pretty good deal. Personally speaking, I would want to go for something with the flexibility of like a mirrorless camera, even if it meant I didn't have the switching capability or any of the direct to Twitch, direct to YouTube capabilities. But that's 100% going to be like, what is your use case? It's not necessarily for me because I'm not a streamer, but streaming is incredibly popular. It's clear that workflow is for someone, and if you are that someone, I would definitely weigh the purchase of this camera against something like the OBS bot or something from Logitech's suite of cameras. I would say that because of my lack of experience in the live streaming space, I don't necessarily have the background to recommend something like this, but I would say that from what I've seen, it is at least competitive with the offerings from the other brands in the space, at least in my opinion. So overall, I think it's a pretty neat package and I've enjoyed using it. Let me know what you think about the NearStream VM20 and whether it could fit into your setup. Big thanks to NearStream for sending me this camera. A purchase link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.